Right, so I literally don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to have a bash at it all, and actually I'm going to pull out my YouTube channel link as well, if I can. So I'm literally going to the live studio. This is what I'm doing now, and I'm going to share this link on Twitter, which I guess options get shareable link. And I'm just going to post a quick message on Twitter. I should really be posting on other platforms too, but really this is just a front overview. So of this module, it's a front overview of this module here, spaCy 3.6.0. So here, I'm just typing this in. Here's the link to. So just typing in there, here is the link, and I will also, I think I can do a view in live control room. So I can view my own view. So be seeing the same thing as I do, but then I can at least see everyone's comments, and I can put a little hello in there just to make sure it's working. So if anyone does join, more than welcome to have a little, put your own comments in there. Sometimes the comments are quite useful, and I'm just going to copy this in there. So if I take that and just paste it in, let's take a look. Here is the link. So just posted that on Twitter as well, so maybe some people will join. Maybe they will, or maybe they won't. But like, where does that, like, I look at all of these kind of like AI, machine learning, and all the other types of things that are, that Python offers, and they're mostly in the Python ecosystem. So one of these types of things is this advanced natural language processing, or NLP, the natural language processing. And I popped along and found this module here, which I saw in another YouTube video, but it was actually much more detailed. So this is kind of like more like an introduction as what it is. And I thought I'll do this again. I like to do these videos where it's the first time I've seen any of this. So I have looked at NLTK, and I have actually used it a tiny bit, so not so much. So now I'm looking at NLP, this natural language processing, and it looks kind of like quite interesting from the video, and we'll get into it. So, and maybe there'll be other links and so forth that we'll go to. So it's pretty much this, and I might even do a pip install. I don't think I've got it installed. Maybe I will for the sake of doing all of this. I should probably do a pip install to not be lazy. So if I just zoom in on this as well, if I do it, I'll probably have to, I might make a test spaCy folder just to kind of like test things out. So let's just make a new file, not a folder. I might need a folder, but let's just do it with a single file for now. So I'm going to call this test underscore spaCy py. Right, I think that should be enough for the purpose of testing. I'm just actually checking that I typed in correctly, and I didn't. So there you go. That's how new I am to it. It's spaCy, and there's probably a reason for it being exactly that. It's not spaCy, it's spaCy. So test_spaCy.py exists, and I was going to do a pip install, but one thing I've learned out of punishment multiple times is that I'd have to do a Python. It's just pi minus Python 3, or so pi 3 minus m. I like to type in the whole thing, Python 3 minus m, and then pip install whichever module what you want to do it. And I've mentioned this before in previous installs, but it's probably worth mentioning every time. This Python 3 minus m makes sure that the module is installed for the correct version of Python, or at least the current version of Python that you're using. That's quite a convenient way of doing it. I'm using, so I hope I have got this up, control. I wonder if it, over here, Python version 3.11, 64-bit. So that's what I'm using. So I'm just going to pip install there. Okay. So maybe it's just Python -m. So let's try that again. I definitely want to have the -m in there. Okay, I think Python 3 -m might have been a Linux version, but there's a whole different bunch of them. And that's exactly why it's worth sort of like mentioning it. So it's doing stuff in terms of it's downloading things. I don't know how long this is going to be. Usually pip installs are quite fast, but if the package is intensive, and it does say here industrial strength natural language processing, so maybe it's going to be intensive, who knows. It's still doing the install, so I'm just wondering if I should keep this on the side or not. I guess I'll keep flicking back to it. I'll keep alt tabbing back to it. Oh, there we go, it's finished. Okay, so I don't need to keep alt tabbing back. I'm not sure exactly how long this video was. I wonder if I can see a timing. I don't think I see a timing bar on this video, but it was about, I don't know, 30 seconds or something to install it. It might be up to a minute, but that might be 20 seconds. So reasonably fast and a reasonably simple pip install, just a Python -m, pip install spaCy. That did it. It downloaded some stuff here, some wheels, some more wheels. I never fully really know, I know what the wheels are, but not fully like what's inside them. This is going to hopefully have a humongous amount of processing power, at least from what I observed on the video that I used. So again, we're probably going to get test code somewhere, so we might get to use it kind of like in anger, as it was. So let's have a look anyway. What is this? spaCy Industrial Strength NLP. It's a library for advanced natural language processing in Python and Python. Okay, which CPython basically, effectively. It's built on the very latest research and was designed from day one to be used in real products. Okay, so this is a serious thing. It's holding itself out to be a serious thing. spaCy comes with, I might even be pronouncing it wrong, so maybe it's spaCy, I don't know, spaCy or spaCy. Comes with pre-trained pipelines. I could sort of like click on this and see what that means. And currently supports tokenization and training for 70 languages. So tokenization is this thing where every word effectively gets put into some kind of category in very simplistic terms. So that's what it does, and then you can kind of look at bunches of words and collections and different patterns in a much more sophisticated way than just like regular expressions or something like that. And it says it does this for 70 languages, so it looks like it's quite complete as well. It features state-of-the-art speed and neural network models, so for tagging, parsing, naming, entity recognition, text classification, and more. So it does a whole bunch of stuff. I should maybe copy some of these out and kind of like, I might just put them in there. Multitask learning with pretrained, as well as production ready training systems and easy model packaging, deployment workflow. Okay, so this looks like the complete thing. Here's some of the stuff. So I'm just doing a Control-C and a tab over there just to get over there. There we go. So that's kind of like, let's have a look at if I get my snipping tool out as well. Right. So that's kind of like so far where we are. So stick this into comments. I'm not sure if these doc strings are now going to change back to orange. There's a whole big debate in VS Code because they were moved to green and they used to be orange, and it's a big thing, like i.e. the color of a single line comment. This is a side note. A single line comment was different from a block comment. Right, they came in different colors, and I think they might, and then it became, for the first time actually in the few years I've known Python, it was migrated to a single color, which I actually think is an advantage. You're welcome to vote on that on the VS Code thing. I think it's a big advantage because you want all of your comments to be in one color. But anyway, other people say that the doc strings are necessary because they form part of the documentation and other things, and therefore they want them in a different color. But anyway, we've got these neural network models for, and then I just kind of like building this little list here just so that we've got it to hand. There was other things as well, but tagging, parsing, named entity recognition, and text classification, amongst others, because there's other things in here as well. Pre-trained transformers like BERT. There we go. Maybe I could stick that in. We don't even know what BERT is. We have to look it up. Everything's kind of like new here. I'm assuming like a zero knowledge, and I'm assuming this zero knowledge. I'll hit clear here as well. Actually, I'll leave this out because it's the original. We're assuming zero knowledge because I've not come across it myself, so I'm hoping that everyone else hasn't come across it themselves. Right, so let's just delve into it. We'd love to hear more about your experience. Fill out the survey version. Check out our latest release notes here. There's no point in that because everything's new to us. New to spaCy, here's everything you need to know. I did have a quick browse on something which I lost the link on because the link hasn't changed its colour. spaCy VS Code extension. That's interesting. Okay, we'll have to have a look at that. Online courses. I think that was the one. I'm going to right click and go to open a new tab for online courses because I just thought that one of the things is it might be interesting or useful to kind of like go through the courses and see what it's talking about as well. So we kind of like got that open on the side too. So there's a whole bunch of things that we can look through. Sometimes, very rarely actually, maybe 1 in 10 for a new module, I'll go through the official docs. Usually I go to kind of like videos and tutorials like this actually, but I do go to the official docs when I get a bit more familiar with it, and then I want to kind of like copy things out of there or see some extra features that are in. I don't normally learn straight off of the initial docs. So this is more like a browse off of the original docs. So let's just go to this new to spaCy because I'm not. Is there anything more to be said here? Where to ask questions. Okay, you can ask questions, GitHub, discussions. I think Stack Overflow will probably be the place to go. Again, I've put a few things here, but they've put it a little bit nicer down here now. So 70 language, train pipelines, multitask learning, support for pre-trained vectors, for pre-trained vector word vectors and embeddings. So we're going to see what those are when we go through it. Production ready training system, linguistic motivated tokenization. Okay, so I can't know what these are, but I'm assuming that I know some of what these are, not all. So I'm just assuming that you're either new to this or maybe, I don't know, you're either new to this and it's an education, or you've seen it all before and you want to see someone kind of like struggling through or finding it new. Maybe I'll find something that other people don't. Quite often when I watch these videos, I find something else that other people don't get. And one of the things that you will have found, even though I'm a novice, is you have a pip install here, setup tools rule. Here's the pip install spaCy, but obviously I did a Python -npip install. Now, quite commonly you see this, which is to put it in a virtual environment. I tend to not use virtual environments. I'm not telling you not to because I believe that's potentially bad practice. But what the virtual environment does is it puts, if you are building a unique parcel of code rather than testing, and that's why this one doesn't really need to be in a virtual environment, it keeps all of the packages and modules and everything contained within the virtual environment. Whereas in my environment, if I did I can't remember what the term is actually, I'm just trying to think, a pip freeze. In fact, I can do a pip freeze so you can see it, but if I do not on this one here, it is this one here. So if I scroll somewhere down there, okay, and I do a pip freeze, kind of all of these modules will be here. I'm hoping that works. Pip freeze. Yeah, there we go. So these are kind of like all the modules that I've installed, which is a whole truckload of modules. And if I'm making a package, I'm not using, I don't know, I'm not using HTTPX, I'm not using Hugging Face, I'm not using image size, IP kernel. So there's a whole bunch of things that I may not be using cryptography. I'm not going to be using that. So beautiful soup, I'm not scraping. So if you're doing something bespoke and you want to keep it in like a certain, like a one kind of like environment, then create your own virtual environment. What I actually tend to do, if I got bigger and all I did at the moment was create one module here, what was create one file basically here, here's my file, this spaCy one. If I wanted to do something a bit more complete, I might actually make a folder and then select, put other things in there and so forth, and I'll open it up in VS Code from that folder. That's kind of like my way of my poor man's version of a virtual environment, but it's basically faster for doing it. So that's kind of like why. That's basically it. There's instructions for Conda as well. I don't use Conda, I'm using pip, but you can see that Conda is kind of like, I don't know, it's similar-ish. So they can install, download module packages and so forth. So that's basically it, and I think it's time to get into it. Here we go, little bit of code. To load a model, use spaCy.load. Okay, let's just test it's working. With a model name or path. Okay, with a model name or path. Okay, so I don't know what this is going to do yet, but let's just take this and we will put the code straight into here. So something like that. Everything's fine. I haven't got any squiggly underscores or anything, so it looks like it's working. And I don't even know what it will do. Okay, so to load the model, use spaCy.load. I've done that, which is this line here, and we're saying which model we want. I don't know what model I'm downloading, I'm doing at the moment, so we can go and have a look at that with a model name or a path to the model data directory. Well, I haven't got any model data directories at the moment, so we're using that. You can import a model directly via its full name and then call its load. Okay, so I don't know if I need to. Okay, so I could do that. I wonder what would happen if I did that. But anyway, let's just do on this because it looks like it's well. Let me hit F5. I don't know. We might get an error or not. Okay, I'll just do overwrite because I don't even know what's on that and it's not important. That was something else from something else I was running, so it's completely unimportant. It looked like it ran. I should actually do print. Done. Oh, there we go. Can't find the model, core web. Okay, it doesn't seem to be a Python package or valid path to the data directory. So there's more to do. So there we got our answer straight away. Can't copy and paste that out. Doesn't work just like that. This is real coding as opposed to the versions of coding that you see when it all works. So this would never have been arrived at, which is done. But actually, where we did get to, I think, is print, got here. Here's cheap debugging, got here. And then 1, because I'm going to put 2 and 3. But basically, I think we didn't get to number 2, so paste there, which is number 2. We didn't get to this bit here, so if I just run it again, hoping some part of it runs at least. We're hoping it says we've got here, because otherwise the spaCy thing will be bad. Yeah, we get a got here 1, okay, and then it got stuck on line number 15, and it gives us this error message, which I could copy and paste straight into. I could go to my best friend Google Bard, but I shan't at the moment. Just post it in there, and straight away you get sent to your second best friend or the old best friend, which is Stack Overflow. Can't find a module, and so forth. So let's see if we do or do not struggle on this. But that definitely didn't work. There was that second option in spaCy, which was this one here, but I'm not sure that this will work as well. I don't know if it was in the when I did pip freeze, if it was in the list of modules, as in when I did the install, is it there or not? kind of like thinking it won't be there, but let's have a little bash anyway and pray. Who knows? So copy that. I'd have liked to have not done an import of this, because that means that you need 2 imports rather than 1, but let's just see anyway. So I've just copied that, and I guess I'll put this here. Well, that's already, and had I have done this, maybe I'd have got the clue a bit earlier. / just over here, imports, whatever, could not be resolved, pylons, da da da. So you might see me debugging in live is the next thing. So is there anything else? I wonder, do I have to install something else? Pip install requirements. spaCy comes with an exclusive test suite. In order to run tests, you'll usually want to clone the repository and build spaCy from source. This will install. Just wondering if anyone's joined. No one's joined, so I get it. This will install the required development dependencies and test utilities defined in requirements.txt. Alternatively, you can run PyTest on the test. Okay, so right, where shall we go from here? That was the initial failure. Do I go to Stack Overflow and have a little look? Here's the person's thing, and will there be a comment here? Initially, I downloaded 2 EN packages using the following statements in Anaconda. Okay, maybe I have to do that. Let's get one of the packages that was there and have an attempt. This is all live. I've got no idea if this is going to work or not. So I go back over there. In fact, I might actually close this second one just because it's a tad annoying having 2 open. Less things to scroll between. I will get rid of this debugging thing on the side, and en on core web _ sm. Okay, so that would be this one here. Initially, I downloaded 2 packages in Anaconda, but I kept on getting linkage error, and finally running the below command helped me establish a link. Okay. Also make sure you restart your runtime working environment. So I'm kind of like what's this pause? I'm thinking what to do, like how not to like sprawl the computer full of like downloads basically, or pip installs of various things. I have no clue about how they're going to work. So do I just do this one or do I do that one? I'm just going to go sequentially, I guess. Well, if I do that, I'd have to do this one. This is the annoying thing, by the way, and this is kind of like why it's worth, by all means go into like, the really like sophisticated videos that tell you everything, and they kind of like assume that you've got to this point, that you're going to have to get to this point if you've not used it before. So, and you're going to run through this, and you're going to do exactly the same process, presumably, if you're VS Code in Windows or whatever, if any of these, and you come along and you go, well, I'm just going to pip install spaCy, and it didn't work. You have to do a Python minus then pip install. That didn't work. And now you've got to try and get your first things running. And the first, you get an error message, and you just copy and paste that into, I just copied and pasted it into the browser, and that's basically my technique. I might hold off. Well, actually, so maybe I'll hold off for a second, just see what this spaCy 101 is. Okay. So I'll open it in a new tab as well. spaCy 101. So I've got lots of tabs open. That's the other thing that's going to happen. You'll have loads of tabs open. Everything you need to know. Okay. spaCy is not a platform or an API. Unlike a platform, spaCy does not provide a software as a service or web application. So it's not an out-of-the-box chatbot engine. While spaCy can be used to power conventional... I should zoom in, actually. Sorry, I should zoom in on this. This was NLTK what I was talking about. But anyway, It's not an out-of-the-box chat engine, so whilst it can be used for conversational applications, it's not designed specifically for chatbot and only provides the underlying. So it's doing something else, like the fundamentals. You can use a chatbot using it, spaCy's things, but spaCy isn't providing you chatbot functionality. You'll go somewhere else for that or create your own. It's not research software. It's built on the latest research, but it's designed to get things done. This leads to fairly different designs than NLTK. So this is the one that I've used, Natural Language Toolkit. And Core NLP, I've not used that one, or Core NLP, so I don't not use that one, which were created as platforms for teaching and research. So, okay, this is more like, I guess, well, designed for use. The main difference is that spaCy is integrated and opinionated. spaCy tries to avoid asking the user to choose between multiple algorithms that deliver equivalent functionality. Keeping the menu small lets spaCy deliver generally better performance and a developer experience. Okay, fine. And it's not a company. It's an open source library. We like to hear that. Our company publishing spaCy is called Explosion, which is very kind of them. And we've got this tokenization and so forth. So again, this hasn't provided me with anything that I can get the code working for. And here I hit run. Connection failed. So that didn't work either. It's got loading pipelines. Do I know that? No, okay, fine. So, and again, it looks like it's doing the spaCy.load core web. I wonder if that's the same. This is me forgetting. So I just go back here. Yeah, it is, because it's doing this. If we see this line here, and even when I hover over it, you can already see that. So if I go here, you can already see that this one, so lines 23 and 30, so it's exactly the same. This still won't work because we haven't got this. So, and no quick fixes available, but seems like if I want to get this working, I am going to have to attempt to do one of those things. So anyways, it should be doing this nice thing that it's telling you to. So now I've got to get it into this status because everything is theoretical if we can't get it working. And it looks like it's going to be quite nice, so I quite like that. So because it breaks things down, it looks like it breaks it down, the sentence into the words, prefix, exception, suffix. So it knows what prefix is, knows what exception is, what suffix. What is the suffix? Well, I guess it's this ny bit. Suffix here, ny. So I'm not sure yet fully. But yeah, let's attempt to get this working then. So I'm just going to do that, copy this one, because I'm not using this one, so I don't over want to pip install anything. So I go back, and this one had the Python -m on it, so I don't even know how long this is going to be. This could be some massive thing, or it could be relatively quick. The first install was relatively fast. You'd like to think that the install would come with the default. So I'm going to say, like, I'm slightly disappointed as a user that whatever it is didn't work straight away from the example. Like, at least give your like here it is, this Encore Web SM, like give that to the user. So that squiggly underscore has gone. That's a sign that it's working. Now I could do that. I don't know if it's better or not now. I'm umming and ahhing. Which one's better? An explicit import, cast your votes, right? Which one's better? An explicit import or doing a spaCy.load of a module? Because then you can kind of like, does it give you more flexibility or not? Or given that you've had to download a module anyway, because I had to go through the pain of downloading it. It's not that painful. It took about 5 seconds, but I had to still go and do a download and get this download and installation successful. So which way is better? I'm going to now just say, because I did the harder of the two ways, I call it the hard way, that I'm going to do an import just to show that module. Well, I guess if you didn't do an import, the module wasn't there. So I'm actually going to argue that using this load thing, it isn't initially useful because you don't initially have this module, and you needed to import that module. So this one is a no-no for now. But anyway, now we can at least, we can go back and see what this all does. I might do everything. I don't know yet, but control/. If I go to the top of my module and just do this, hash space %%, it opens, or it gives the user the ability to do everything in the interactive notebook. So if I press control return, this is now a block of code. There is only one block. And that little block of code, instead of running everything in the terminal down below, I could run everything to the side. So I don't know, maybe I'll do that. Let's just have a bash of that. If we need to come back to the terminal, I'll come back to the terminal. But just for now, we won't. We'll do this. So I'll do control and the little, I think control J actually does it as well. Control J on the keyboard, so gets rid of or toggles the terminal on and off. Control and J, that is. So I'm just going to do a control return now, and it runs everything to the side, which is fine. I'm going to make the width a little bit bigger, and the reason why is this isn't a Jupyter notebook. It's an interactive, it's like Python interactive kernel. It's something that VS Code offers, but it's quite cute in the sense that it keeps everything. So there we go, we got done. Right, that's all we were going to get because I've commented the rest down. The reason I commented the rest out is I just noticed that there was this little sentence here, and that's now 3 billion, I think, isn't it? By the way, the shares of Apple shares. There we go, Yahoo Finance. This is an interesting one. Give you an idea of when they wrote it. Oh no, it says Apple is looking at buying a UK startup. That's different. I actually thought it was a market cap for 1 billion. But anyway, Apple's a trillion. So again, a digress to the side there. A 3 trillion market cap. There we go. Digress market. Let's go back. So we've got something and it's run. Let's look at what is this doc thing anyway, and what is this NLP? Did we even need this? Well, presumably we did, which in that case brings us back to, because I've now used 1 line of code, 2 lines of code, whereas if I do Control Z, I wonder if I can get it back. Oh, it's here, the spaCy.load here. Yeah, I probably had to do a couple of Control Zs. If I go do a Control Z, then basically I don't need to import and load. So I'm going back on myself. I'm retracing myself now. There we go. I won't use the import. I will do this because it's 1 less line of code. That's all. It'll run exactly the same way. Control return, run it the same way. So that's fine. Now, let's just do print NLP. And then I wonder if there's anything else to print on that, just see what NLP is. Okay, so it's just the position in memory space. Okay, fine. So it's just something that's been loaded. We've loaded this spaCy thing. So load a spaCy. I could be saying this 1,000 times wrong. It could be spaCy. Load a spaCy model from an installed package or local path. I wonder if I could, if I do take this and go to something like Google Translate. There we go. And then I'll just go there and then put in, oops, not that, we had English there, so just had English in there. Right, go back, there we go. And just stick in the word. This is how you pronounce it. Officially, I'm going to pronounce it this way.
spaCy.
Okay, so spaCy is the right term. There you go.
spaCy. spaCy.
Right. So I'm saying it right, just in case I was saying it wrong. I didn't have to do this piece, fortunately, so that worked on its own. So that's a confirmation done. I can close this up. we just had to download the one module that we needed. So fine, fantastic. It wasn't too painful getting there. Let's go back. So load a spaCy model from an install package or local parser we've done, and the model that we've loaded is this on underscore core underscore web underscore sm model, and the doc is this. So let's just, we didn't get very much out of what this was, this NLP thing, but let's just see what the doc is. Again, I think the doc's just going to be something in memory space, so there'll probably be attributes that we can look at, but then maybe there'll be some attributes on here. NLP dot. Okay, so there's tons of methods and attributes that are available for us to use that are non-double underscored, so things that we can actually do in spaCy, tons of them. So this is pretty complete in terms of a module, and I'm not even sure which one to use yet, so I'll leave that piece out. And I wonder if I just do, let's see if I do doc control return, just do the same thing. Okay, all I got back was this is a sentence, and I actually remember on the video that I saw saying, because that didn't add very much value, because we could have just done something like, I don't know, s for string equals copy that, paste it there. Run. I didn't mean to run. I meant to press control return. Bad on me. I forgot, because I want to keep everything in the module. So let's, I think it will just go to the background. I've never done this before. Like I can control J it halfway through running. Just do control return, because I want to run it down here. And we get, this is a sentence and this is a sentence. So like, it doesn't even look any different at this point in time. But I kind of like, I saw on this thing already that, in fact, what I'll do is I'll make use of that S. I will go here, move it up one line, and then we can pass in S. There we go. Super lazy. But yeah, we could say, well, what's the difference? But you haven't added any value. But the value add is going to be this, I imagine, which is all of this stuff here. And I don't like, I guess we'll go through some examples and see what they mean. I've got no idea which ones are the useful ones and so forth. We'll have to go through. I wonder if anything stands out. The length one does stand out actually. And I did see this on the actual tutorial that I saw, which is NLP.length. Okay, it doesn't have the attribute length, so it's not that one. Hold on, just to make sure that all works. Okay, that worked. Okay, and then yeah, okay, this didn't work here. spaCy taking dot. Okay, does not have attribute length, although it gave that as an option. So let's just do dot. I wonder if there was a length thing or something. Maybe that length of a sentence, but I don't know. Max length. Again, probably crash. No idea. Yeah, it crashes. Okay, it doesn't work. So that one didn't work. So it could be cringe for someone who's used it. We can do count by maybe. What will it count by? I've got no idea. I think I'm going to have to go to, because I'm just going to guess, and I'll be guessing wrong things. Is there anything really obvious? Text won't do anything in particular. That will give us a text which will look like the text. I imagine that's what it's going to do. Vector, vocab, and then there's the double underscore method. So I'm going to say nothing that stands out yet. So let's go see what the docs offer, because it's better than just guessing. So, and maybe we'll get some examples. And we've also got the, in fact, we're on that page anyway, so maybe this is kind of like the useful page. I wonder if there was any more to be said here. usage guides. Okay, that came before, so we could choose to go to this usage guide, but that's installing it, that kind of stuff. In fact, the install here, this is the first time that we see this, is you get you're told to do this one, which is the download the Encore web _sn. So yeah, that's not giving us much. Upgrading, we're not going to upgrade. Compile from source. Okay, fine. So that didn't add much value. Okay, fine. So close this one down. New project templates, API reference. Okay, so let's just, I'm going to attempt to do this online course. There's also our YouTube channel with video tutorials, which might supersede this one anyway. So this is a preliminary YouTube channel with, this isn't even a tutorial. This is a person going through the live course, but you by all means go to the videos thing and have a look that way. So finding words and phrases, let's just click on that and see what it does. Introduction to spaCy, getting started, documents, packages, loading pipes. So let's do the introduction to see what's in there here. Introduction. Hi, I'm Ines, one of the core developers of spaCy. Let's in this lesson we'll take a look at the most important concepts of spaCy. Mark is completed. Hit next. Don't know next. We'll hit this arrow. Right. Import spaCy. NLP equals spaCy.blank. Okay. Create a blank English NLP object. Well, we've created. Okay. Let's just do their video. Right. So copy this. And this is a nice thing about this, by the way, which is, well, in fact, I could probably take all the text here. Is these modules, if I do, I'll just run separately, right? But we've got spaCy imported already, so I probably don't need to rerun it. But we've got, up here, we had NLP equals spaCy.load, and then this thing. But now we're told in our example, maybe this would have worked if we did this one first. NLP that. Let's have a look. Well, it didn't crash, or did it? No, it was fine. When you're not actually running anything, I don't know, I find it useful to put something like saying done or something, so I know I got to the end. Then it says done, and I know it's actually run because I just ran it to see what would happen. Okay, so we've created this blank English NLP object. Let's go next. Okay, so it's the same kind of thing here, which is this hello world. So maybe we can sort of like supersede this. This hello world is very much equivalent to what we've done here, this NLPS. So we could probably migrate some things across and then iterate over the tokens in the document. So here's probably more like the use case that we've got, right? Which is this here, which is for token in document. Okay. Our document is this thing here, print token.text, and we no longer have to have the done bit. I'll keep it there, but we no longer have to have it. We get exactly as per the example, which is hello world and the exclamation mark, so it's tokenized it. Now, I would have thought that we could get len. Okay, we just do, that's probably what might have worked, and it might have worked up here as well, which is print len. Because presumably if it's a bunch of tokens, doc, that would have worked up here. And it does. It says this is a sentence. And it actually says 5. I don't know why yet, because I see 1, 2. Well, let me highlight that with the little thing if I can. Here's one token. Here's another one. This is what's called tokens. Here's another one, and here's another one. So I'm wondering what is the 5th token. For example, is the dot here, which I've just drawn over the 5th token. I don't know. Got no idea. So, but we get 5, and that's telling me here, well, I think we're going to, well, I think we get 3, won't we, on this one, 1, 2, 3. So the exclamation mark here is a token, and we could do print len of, wasn't token, was it? If that's for doc. There we go, for len of doc, print len of doc. And I put something like, all right, I just write in here just so that we can see what it is. Items, tokens, number of tokens, and run it. And it says number of tokens 3, right? So it is, I think it'll be the case that this thing here would be a token. And again, we could actually just show that now, because we could iterate over all the tokens in the document. And notice I'm not copying out the single line comment. And the reason why I'm not putting it in there is because I'm going to say that it is intuitive now. So whereas we didn't know what this meant, like if you're properly coding now, you know what this means. You only have to see it once to kind of understand it. And I'm going to steer this line of code here just because it's just a bit nicer than just printing out random numbers. And when we run it, we've got exactly that. So here's our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That was our 5 tokens. And when we printed out doc down the bottom, it said this is a sentence. But now our sentence isn't a sentence, so we could have still done print. This is the nice thing about retaining the variable, right? This one here is a bunch of tokens, and this one here is the string. So this is the, I guess, the NLP object, I'm going to call it. So this is the NLP object. I'll keep everything in smalls. Colon. And this one here is the actual original string. There we go. We haven't got very far, but we're beginning to understand what it is. So one is a bunch of tokens, one is a string. They're fundamentally different. So let's see where we go from here. We continue. We haven't even passed the introductory bit yet. Could mark is completed. Let's go on. Okay, so now we see the picture of it, the token object. So we've got this document, or not document, we've got this thing called doc, which took in this NLP, whatever it was, and it broke it down into a bunch of tokens. That's what we're getting. Each word, or each thing, because the exclamation mark isn't a word, it's a thing, like each object or something, they're called tokens. That's what those things are. So we can do, because it's a list of tokens, it looks like we can do this. So again, I'm kind of like running 2 parallel bits of code now in my own code, which isn't ideal. So I should kind of like dump one. The bottom version is the commented version. But because it's a list, we can do token 1. And what I will do, or doc token, again, this variable's got nothing to do with this one we're overwriting. This is just a placeholder for the for loop. This one here is going to be assigned the first or the second element, because the first element is doc 0. So if we do run this, and then so I need to do print of it, and I hope that's in the actual thing here. It is. Okay, print token.text, that's interesting. I was just going to do print token, but apparently you need to print token.text. So let's have a look at what that actually does. And I'll actually call this token. I don't know what this is going to throw out, by the way, but I'm setting myself up for token.text to be something slightly different, which will be the text of it. So it just says world, right? And the reason it said world is because index number 1 was that. This is index 0. And this is standard Python indexes. So this is index number 0. This is index number 1. And this is index number 2 for things in our list, effectively. Well, our list. So that's what this does, and I just wonder out of interest. I'm not sure I will see that much different, but it's probably the text of it. Probably where I see the difference is if I look at the type. So print token.text, and I'll put token text, right? So we've got token and token text, but they throw out the same thing. We get world in both of them. But if we did the type of them, I don't know if this gives us something else. Type of token, and if we did the type of token text, we'll get some extra bits. So what we get here, we get world, and this says it's a spaCy tokens.token.token. That's what it is. It's a class. Something in the spaCy module, it's a class. Whereas what we get here is just a string. So I think it was kind of like obvious, but I thought it's just worth doing it. Sometimes I do that because in Python, Python's quite flexible, and it lets you not have to like do type hinting and that kind of stuff. It doesn't force it like other languages. So like if it was C++, it might be something like str, because this has to be a string. But Python lets you do whatever you like. Now, but that's quite flexible and nice and very friendly. But at the same point in time, I now, as a new user, don't know what type this is. So I guess I could infer what type is, but you could hover over it and find it. It says just here, well, it is of type token. And it inferred that because it would have taken it, I presume, from doc here, and that created a list of tokens. So I put that's what it is. So fair enough. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on. We've broke down and we've done a deep dive. We've got good understanding. Span object. So what's a span object? Again, don't know. It looks like, okay, but that's just a slice. So it doesn't look anything more like NumPy list, not NumPy, just Python lists, just a standard Python list. So a slice from the doc is a span object, but okay. But again, it's a span.text, so there's nothing new here. This is all very Pythonic, which if we knew that doc was of type list, then, well, if the doc is of type doc, we have to like, it looks like a list. I wonder if I could actually go to definition. I wonder if I could trace back, but this basically looks like a Python list, and we're just doing slices, and we can print. Again, we can be lazy. You get away with it. Oops. And I presume it does. It's just printed world and the exclamation mark, which is the index number 3 and index number 2. And it won't print index number 1. So this is that the right way around? Yeah, this is inclusive, and this one is exclusive. I think that's the way around. I don't know. So it's 0, 1, 2. So 3 will get everything. So if we had have done 2, it would have actually missed out the exclamation mark. So we needed to put 3 in to capture the exclamation mark there. Because this is it. This one here in lists, I take that back. This is it's exclusive, which means it counts up to that number, but not including that number. So it's counting index number. This is including index number 1 and index number 2. That's what this span is. So there's nothing special there because it looked like a list, and it actually looked like this. I could have created this list. So like my token list is equal to, and then I could have and in fact I could have used, and I did see this as well on the actual video that I saw, which is you could use a split statement. And actually I might do that. I'll take this whole string here, like this hello world, and then do dot split, right? and then do print. I wonder if I have to put that into a list or not. My token list. There we go. Run it. And, well, you can see here straight away. In fact, you might even argue that this is neater. Well, it is and it isn't. It's taken the hello and put it into one token. Then it's taken world and put it into a second token. But notice it didn't know to take the exclamation mark and put it into a third token. So spaCy is doing something extra than just ordinary Python list. Already at this very fundamental level, it's doing something. It's not like we couldn't do it or we couldn't manifest a different way. Maybe for like one way of doing it is like forcing a space, but you won't want to be doing that. But if we ran it again, you'd now get a list of 3 items in here. But somehow in the background, under the hood, spaCy has managed to, or knows to, put this exclamation mark into a third category, as a third token. So that's what it's done. It's offered that out of the box. So we'll continue. And then, okay, lexical attributes. Okay. Again, I think it's just showing off a little bit of what it can do, maybe. But let's just get this in here. And this is what spaCy is all about, I guess. We'll stick in all of this. And then what's it telling us to do? Okay, index. Okay, so it's got a list comprehension in here. This is just a standard list comprehension. So let's have a little debunk of this. I don't even know. Let's have a token I for I in. I sometimes have to I have to think through the list comprehensions for things that are new. So for every token in doc, this looks like this, right? Token dot. Okay, is it just, so this is going to be a list in itself. I wonder, was that like token dot append or token dot I? I wonder what. Because this one here was print token dot text. Oh, that must be. I presume that's the integer or the index part of it. That's what that's going to be. So when we run it, we get index. Yeah, okay, fine. That's what that index meant. So we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the index of each component. So this is quite nice. Very nice. Then we can get the text in each one as a list comprehension. So this has now done effectively what the split statement has done. This is a list comprehension. So it comes out as a list, and what we're going to get as our text is text in the format of the lists that we are used to seeing in Python inside of the square brackets. And it's done that. And let's notice it's put the $sign from here in its own bit. It's put the number 5 in its own bit, and it's put the dot in its own bit. So it's kind of like split things up in a certain way that it felt it needed to. We didn't have control over the splitting. That was done in the background. So, okay, nice. I see what this is getting to. So it's teaching us some stuff here. Is alpha. It's quite good doing these because when you run it, what is alpha anyway? Okay, it's a Boolean. So it's okay. So this is, it's kind of telling me what this is. If it's basically going to be a bunch of truths and falses. So this I'm expecting. This is alpha because it's an it. This is alpha, so it's going to be true, true, false, false, false. I'm hoping. Well, I'm not hoping, but I might be expecting that. So true, true, false, false, false. Fantastic. So that bit's good. Let's do the next bit. So we can determine using spaCy if we've got the index of a thing. We can pull out the text. We can see if it's an alpha. It's punctuation. It's like, so it's doing all of this stuff for us. Again, we can do a lot of stuff on strings because it's, when I did hello world, if I move this split away, so I do dot, right, it exposes all the methods. There's tons of stuff in here too, like loads of things, but they're not quite the same. They're operations on strings, and this spaCy is like operations on the tokens. So let's just paste that in here. And again, what's punctuation? I don't know if this counts as punctuation in this one. The dot should count as punctuation, but maybe it doesn't. If we look at a string, is it 5 over here? Is it $5.0? Is that part of the number, or is it the end of the sentence, right? And is this dollar, is it punctuation or not? Like, is it part? So I don't even know. So let's have a look. And so we get false, false. We're expecting that. And then we get false again, which is for the dollar sign. We get false again. Yeah, so punctuation, the only thing that's punctuated is this dot over here. So we get false, 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 and then true. And let's just tab back again. Finally, this one here. And actually, I'm kind of like silly in a way because I'm sort of like talking about it. It's down the side. I is the index of the token within the parent document. Text returns the text of the token. Is alpha, punct, and like underscore num return Boolean values, so they're all Booleans, indicating whether the token consists of, its specific characteristic, basically. So, and here, for example, 10, 1, 0. Again, it's giving us some breakdowns of some examples. So yeah, it's looking quite good. I thought I had one more to put in there. No, I didn't. Okay, didn't want that. So it's punctuation. Okay, yeah, like num. Okay. We could do regular expression searches and other things. So, oh, why am I copying the answers out? Okay, I meant to do this. That's twice I did that. Copy and paste. So, like num, same thing. We're going to get false, false, false. So when we hit the number 5, which is the fourth index, we're going to get true. And then we're going to get one more false because the false is for the full stop. So that all looks like it's working as expected. Everything's great. We understand what it means. These attributes are also called the lexical attributes. So a word to learn here. Lexical attribute. I should control plus on this or zoom in. I wonder if I've zoomed in enough. Just so that that's visible. So let's move on. Let's practice. Okay. Next. And it gives you some practice stuff, but we're not going to practice. That's interesting. I don't know if we get this or not out of the box. No, we won't. Or will we? Import spaCy. Do we have to? Would we have to put this in here? Control Z on that one. Didn't mean that. But no, because that's the module name. So would we even have to do that? So here we're putting, well, that's spaCy blank. Maybe we'd have to put GR for German or something like that. I just wonder what goes in there. Oh, here we go. Part 2, it tells you. It's cheating. It's too easy. These tests are too easy. Like, so, I wouldn't normally do these tests. Use spaCy blank to create this DENLP object. So, okay, we just import spaCy then. This is kind of like what we need to do. So let's just get rid of that. And then NLP here is, I should kind of like create the German NLP object, which is just, okay, just NLP. I guess it's, okay, doc equals, no, NLP equals spaCy dot blank. I think that's what it is. Okay. So, yeah, it would be. Right, it's the same thing. And inside of that, kind of just putting in this DE. So that should work. And then finally print out. And I guess it'd be print the document text. So let's just do doc.text. And then run code. Wonder if it's going to do something. So launching a Docker container on mybinder.org. Submit. Show solution. Okay, looks like I've crashed everything. Wonder if I've crashed everything. No, it's done it. There we go. It works. Fantastic. show solution. Maybe it didn't show a solution because if it's correct, then the solution is going to be the same thing. So, but I guess that says well done. So good. So, okay, and then there's more stuff. So it does have things out of the box. Actually, it's got so we didn't need our fangled version. It looks like it's got a lot of the basic languages presumably already in there, so that's fine. Again, getting started. So it's gone there. German, Spanish next, but that's just going to be okay. Documents and spans. Okay, so it looks like I'm not going to say we're getting to the end of it. We're certainly not getting to the end of it, but we got a feel of what's going to be in there. So I might clean the code up a little bit, maybe even save the code somewhere just so that other people don't want to use it. But a lot of this code is, it's just a bastardized version of me taking the code that's here and sort of like inspecting and having a look. So select the first token. The first token is going to be like the 0th item. So a lot of this stuff just looks like it's dealing with lists at the basic level. So I'm not even sure that I need to even do any of that, because then we get to lexical attributes. We saw that there. Okay. In this example, you use spaCy's doc and token objects and lexical attributes to find percentages in a text. Okay, so this is now more interesting. Now we've ratcheted up a level. We spent a lot of time just having a look, and now it's going to be a little bit more useful. And what I might do, check whether it's kind of like, lift some code and go back into here and do another hash just to create another cell. Basically is something like this, and then so this gives you like a whole string. God knows what goes in there. We've got the English thing, and then check if the token resembles a number. So okay, fine, right. If token dot, I wonder if that was I, for example. Hold on. Oh no, we're going to check for his number. Now, is instance note like num. Notice that I just typed in num because I remember number, and I think that will work. So if token like num, we're going to check if it resembles a number. Get the next token in the document. Okay, so next token is I wonder if it's something like I wonder. Over there, if it's like token.next or something. Oh no, here we go. And here's a hint. So use like num to attribute. Okay, fine. Get the following. Get the token following the current token, and the current token is the ith object. So it looks like it does that. So we can just do the so it gives us back the index, and we want i+1, which is the next one. That's what we're going to want at least. So this is going to be next token is token, and then I presume it's that, right? This is the index of the current token, and we want the next token. Let's get i+1 basically, which I believe is what it's alluding to. So that's fine. And like we could have printed here, like, and this is code. So we did it token dot, and these were all the attributes. One of them was I, which was just its index. So still it's useful, but have we done anything more than we could have done? Yeah, possibly, because it's doing the categorizations for us. So next token. Okay, what was the final piece here? Check whether the the next token's attribute sign is percentage. Okay. Okay, check whether the token's text. Okay, well, if next token dot text is what it's dot I'm wondering why that doesn't come out yellow. That worries me. Show solution. It should do that. So this worries me, is that when I did next token dot something, I was expecting or hoping that the IntelliSense would pull up, but it hasn't. So have I got an error in the code? So I guess I just run it. And it does have an error in the code, which is interesting. So let's have a look. I wonder if I copy the whole text, is it going to work? I don't need the top bit. I don't even need, maybe I do, I don't know. Oh, because I did the German bit for a start. Maybe that threw it an error. Possibly. Just let's look for I don't know. I'm just trying to spot where the difference is, but was there more lines of code in here? Looks like the same number of lines of code. Control Z. Ah, here we go. This token.token was wrong, and then control control Y does it the other way. Yeah. Okay. So error in what I had, which was and maybe I guess everyone should have spotted this and be screaming it out. But basically, I used token of token, and I should have used doc on token I+1. So I want to get the index of it, and I want to get the next one. So, and to call each element is doc of index, not token of index. So the tokens are the items of the list. So I need to be careful with that. That's the understanding of it. As in the doc, and we had that picture, so that's my fault. The doc is this, and the tokens are like these things here, right? So I was kind of like looking at the, if this is token number I over here, then this is token number I+1 over here. That's all. So I needed to be careful with that. That's kind of getting used to it, I guess. So we can now run it, and percentage found 60. Let's have a look. Okay, it's extracted the percentage bit out here, but again, you could. I'm not sure. Like, have we had an advantage over regular expressions or like some clever if statement or something like that? Get the next token in the document, and then right. If token like oh, I see. It's always doing a look forward to the next token. So basically, it's looking for percentage and what's actually happening. So it's quite clever in a way. It does save you some time. I was actually trying to understand what this actually does, but it goes through each token, and it goes when it gets to, these are two separate tokens. When it gets to this token, it then says, well, look at this next token, which I'll color in a different color. Look at this next token. And if that one is a percentage sign, so check if that's equal to a percentage, give me back this one. So it's quite clever. So that's basically it on that part of it. So let's just clear my drawings. So we can iterate over the token document. We can do something relatively sophisticated now. And actually, this is one of the things that I wanted to do. And I think I started using NLTK. I did, which was go to the London Stock Exchange website and kind of like look at the company announcements and print out some data. And I want to print out things that are like where it's got percentages and numbers and stuff. I want to extract that, as in what does it mean. So if it says our profits are up 20%, right, I want to capture that. That's meaningful in some way. So NLTK offers it, but it looks like spaCy offers it kind of like a bit more direct, as a like, you know, you can get it out a little bit faster, basically. Like the use case is right there in your face. So that's quite nice. It looks like, you know, and here's the takeout of this, which is, you know, you can go through the documents basically, and you know, go through this and kind of like do each one. I wonder if I'll go through the whole lot, but because I think at this point we've got not a whole context, but a beginning example of what spaCy is and what it's trying to do. What are trained pipelines? Okay, trained pipelines. Models that enable spaCy to predict linguistic attributes not in context, part of speech, syntax dependencies, named entities, trained on labeled example text. Okay, can be updated and fine-tuned. Right, so it's going to give us an example, and this is, I guess this is more like our original one, because now it's using this bit here, right, which you needed to have Python environment. You needed to do the download of the Encore Web SM. So we're back to the first bit that we couldn't do when we did our native pip install right at the beginning. So that we're back to this basically. And let's see what comes in here. So we've got that. So, and it offers us, it looks like it's offering us 4 things here: binary, weights, vocabulary, meta information. Okay, I don't exactly know what it is. There's tags to some sort of information, and a configuration file. So that's to do extra configs, presumably of our own. So predicting part of speech tags. Okay. So I think we take this whole example maybe and sort of like view it in our thing, but we've got a little explanation down the side as well. I might do a couple more and then sort of like stop it, this video, but let's just do, I might even have to run a second spaCy, but basically she ate the pizza. So we're loading our English pipeline. That's what we're doing. We kind of like know this now, but we'll keep it there just for the sake of it because we copied out the docs. Process a text. So this is a piece of text we're going to process. It goes into our doc object from our NLP, and then again we're iterating over the tokens and print the text and the predicted part of the speech tag. So I don't know what this does, but for every token in the document, print token.text. So okay, it's going to print out she, and then token.pos underscore. So okay, I don't know, let's see what pos underscore does. Okay, great. So this pos underscore, although I hover over it and it tells me nothing about it, it will tell us here, I guess. There we go, in fact. For each token in the doc, we can print the text and the attribute, the predicted part of the speech tag. Okay. The pos attribute, the predicted part. Okay. It's broken down. It's told us what these are. So this is a pronoun, a verb. I don't even know what det stands for. And then the noun, I presume. Like, my English grammar is terrible. But these are all parts of how you would construct an English sentence, and you need a verb and a noun and so forth. Like, there's rules, you know, for the English language, and it's using these English language rules. That's going to be my very simplistic takeout of this. So in In spaCy, attributes that return strings usually end with an underscore. Okay. Attributes without the underscore return an integer ID value. Don't even know what that means. I wonder if I took out this underscore. Okay, interesting. We got the numbers. So in fact, I could actually just take this here. I don't know what this yet refers to. I'm just printing it all in one line. Right, there we go. So now we've got she. So I don't know what 95 stands for. I don't know what 100 stands for. I don't know what 90 stands for. Is 90? I don't know. Like, why is it come? Like, why is it a lower number? So I don't know what these are exactly yet. Let's have a look. All I knew was that it was their return. Return an integer ID value. I don't know what this ID value represents. Is it a place in memory? I'm not sure. But I presume one thing that will be true is that these must all be unique. If I wonder if she ate the pizza and the pizza, if the word pizza, if we see one of these things returned twice. So pizza's a noun. It does. So the came up twice accidentally. I didn't do that on purpose. So this one came up twice because it's here, and just do an undo of that. I'll delete. The came up twice and it's got the value of 90, and pizza came up twice and it's got the value of 92. So there we go. That's what that does. It's like a unique integer basically. I'm going to consider it parts of the memory space, but I could be wrong. But it's certainly unique for. So if I wrote piz or something like that instead of pizza, then it might, and they might throw something slightly different. So delete and back onto the arrow. So here we go. That's got a 92 as well. And that's got 96. So these are deemed to be fundamentally the same in terms of the integer value, but this one here got his own integer value, and all I did was kept shortening the letter. So I don't necessarily fully know, but we know that there's something there, just an extra feature that's available. Predicting syntactic dependencies. Okay, let's just do that for token in document. So again, we're going to get, I'm just going to do a well, we've got the token text, we've got the token pos, we had our token number thing as well. I'm going to keep this in here, right, which was this one. So maybe we don't need to print this all twice because it's exactly the same code now. Get rid of that as well. I'm going to just move the whole lot up here because I could put two versions in, that one and this one here. I'll just comment this one out. I just don't need to write this whole for loop again. I don't think it doesn't add any value, so I just commented the other one out. So again, we don't know what these are, but we can see that there's categorizations here and token depth. So end subject roots det. I don't know yet what this is. Okay, so we'll see what it means. CC det. This one's a det, and this one's okay, fine. Interesting, this head text, token.head.text, this one got Piz, this one got Piz, okay, fine. It's almost like, so this one here got pizza, that got Piz, and it threw off one letter. And it looks like it took this one, threw out one letter. I don't know, we'll see. Let's have a little read, because otherwise we're guessing. So, in addition to the parts of speech tags, we can also predict how the words are related. For example, whether a word is a subject of the sentence or an object. Okay. The dep attribute returns the predicted dependency label. And head attribute returns the syntactic head token. You can also think of it as part of the token this word is attached to. It's very cryptic. You can also, okay, as a parent token. Okay, sorry, as a parent token this word is attached to. All right. I will eliminate the pizza. I'll eliminate these and just run that. So where I've put and, it's attached to pizza. Where I've put this second is attached to pizza. So is this first because it's the pizza. So there's some kind, it's doing something here where it's got this linkage. It's like the pizza and pizza, as in like they're linked. So like these are separate. That's at least what it appears to be doing. So she goes to 8. Okay, you know, these things are linked, I guess. 8 and 8 goes to 8. So 8 doesn't refer to anything, it refers to itself. That's interesting. It's doing some quite clever stuff on its own. So this refers to that one. I should start even drawing arrows, I guess. But she refers to 8. But 8 doesn't like 8 like exists on its own, if that makes sense, in the English language. So it's quite useful. It's quite interesting what's happening here. So let's keep going on. Dependency labeled scheme. Okay, she 8. Okay, so that's what's happened. There we go. That's kind of like previously you saw my diagram, or my diagram was there, and now here's the real diagram that actually works. So n sub means normal subject, she, and then direct object is what dopt stands for, was pizza. So that'll be there, but on my example, I put and the pizza afterwards, so I put some extra bits. Det is a determiner, so the. Okay, so it's useful to see how it works. You've got to get your head around it. So I'll try not to think too much while I do this now and just go through it, because it's more just getting a grip or an understanding of what's available to be used effectively. That's kind of like where we're at. So right, I'll do this last one, but this one's quite interesting. Is it interesting? Like predicting named entities. Apple.org is looking to buy. Okay, that was our original thing, wasn't it? So we can now take that and go back into our code here. And this was, I think, pretty much close to our original thing. I'm not going to import spaCy again. I don't even think I have to do the loader language. Well, I don't have to do the loader language module, although kind of like as practice, I guess you should, because if you've just call this another example. Right, we do the same iteration, this time over the predicted entities. So let's just see what pops out of here. And we get this Apple.org UK is GPE, and so 1 billion is talking about money. I wonder what GPE refers to, and org, I think org stands for organisation. Oh, I think GPE stands for, so this again, this is quite clever. I'm quite sure that it stands for some sort of a governmental purpose entity or something like that. So it's that this is quite good. These are the things that we're now getting that are adding, because otherwise, like, there wouldn't have been any extra value if it was just a list and some regex, regular expressions on lists or something else like that. Whereas this is doing something a little bit more serious. And here, I guess we would say, the docs.ents property lets you access the named entities. So now we're able to look at named entities. And notice that I haven't had to do anything. I haven't had to put in a dictionary. It's kind of like done it all for me as the user. It returns an iterator of span objects so that we can print the entity text and entity label using the label ent_label. So that's basically what it's doing. Okay. So this whole object, pull it out. This whole object here is spitting out, I guess he spat for returns an iterator of span objects. So all of these, an iterator of span, so all of the objects, I presume that's all of the objects actually, docs.end, which is everything here. An iterator of span objects. So we can print the entity text and the entity label using _label. Okay. The span looks like it's a shorter, it's like, it looks like a list, like splicing a list, like splicing a regular NumPy list, which is not NumPy Python list, which is, or NumPy list, but you know, where you start, you've got your colon here, and sort of like, you know, from A to B or whatever, and it'll kind of like splice your list. But actually, what it's doing is it's splicing it by just these bits, because we know that in our return we just got this Apple UK and 1 billion, so we got it extracted out Apple. That was the worst underline ever. We extracted out Apple, then we extracted out this one here, and then we extracted out in this one here and left everything else. That's actually what it did. And so it's, when I say it's, spaCy had a go at extracting named entities. So Apple is an organization. UK is this governmental entity. Here we go, it actually says what it is: geopolitical entity. Okay, geopolitical, so it should be, I don't know if it's 2 words or not, maybe it's GE, but geopolitical entity, and then it recognizes 1 billion as money. So yeah, this is very useful, because that would take us a long time to kind of like construct if we were going from the beginning. This comes out of the box with spaCy, and there is more to do. There's a lot more to do, but I'm going to, just for the sake of, because there's so much, I might stop it here. Maybe I'll do a quick browse. Get quick definitions. Okay, that would have helped what these things are, but they're there anyway. So, and that's kind of like it. Then you get to the practice session. I'm going to stop it here because it's kind of like relatively long as a single video. We've learned quite a bit about spaCy. What it does is able to extract certain features out of our text. We didn't do anything very big. It'd be very interesting, like, and I might do a video on, like, let's put in a whole bunch of stuff table with data, and so like, can we extract things out of there, and like how useful can it be? But it's doing some of these things, like it pulled out a government entity, like that kind of stuff. That's quite useful. It's doing all of those things. It's giving us all of that. And I might just leave it there. We're on the let's practice bit. There's a whole bunch more things to do. I think I need to have a go at it. There's also other video tutorials. So like, this one's kind of like the real beginners looking guide, getting an understanding, and bits where I've struggled, at least, others might struggle, like that don't make the same errors, or kind of like try to replicate some of this, and what it means and how we'll get it. And then there's other videos that are like, they've got much more clarity. They assume that you've got to this level and done it, and sort of like had a understanding, and they're kind of like the next level up, like this does this, and this is how we're now going to use them. So, and hopefully I'll be able to get there myself, either if I do more videos, or even if I do it on my own, I'll be able to get them myself, and I will implement this some way into some of the tools that I use personally for AI and machine learning and natural language processing. And in particular, I did another tutorial on the prediction of one of those language model things that sort of like pulled them all in, and it actually failed on me. It wasn't very helpful. So this is an example of a success video where like stuff works and it looks like it's got immediate usage in Python, and Python gives you that. That's one of Python's languages over some other languages. It kind of offers that up front, like that very, very practicality part of it. So I think I'll stop the stream here, and thank everyone. Leave likes and all of that kind of stuff. Follows, likes, recommendations if you did like the video. I'm hoping that someone does and someone will watch it. It was a live stream, but really it's just a very, very long recording that I don't keep on my PC. So yeah, definitely follow, like, and all the rest on this channel. And that's it. And if you've got any comments as well, put your comments into. So that's it. Thanks.